Hi, Project 24 members. I really wanted to give back to the community. I felt like the community has really helped me a lot, reading a lot of forum posts. And I've noticed as I've listened to many of the podcasts and watched the YouTube videos that Ricky and Jim have done, that a common complaint that they have had of, or not necessarily a complaint, but one thing that they've noted as a problem in many different sites that they've reviewed is that the search analysis is off. I can't count how many times I've heard that phrase or something similar to it. And as I've watched other Project 24 members, share their niche and say, I'm not having success, and they let people look at their website. That's often what a lot of people say. Your search analysis is off. And so I've thought a lot about this, and we've all have the same resources, but many of us are not having the same success. And maybe it's just an inability to, we're missing something. That was kind of the purpose of this. Is I wanted to make a video where the intent is to help us get better at search analysis. And so I've volunteered myself as tribute to do search analysis while being recorded. And so the purpose is I'm not going to say I'm doing everything perfect. In fact, if you think that I'm doing something right or something wrong or things that I can improve on, if you post about that in the forum in this thread, I think that would be super helpful for me personally, but also maybe helpful for others who are trying to learn the craft of search analysis. And the assumption is that if you get good at search analysis on one topic, that extends to other topics. So I am going to just do search analysis. I'm not going to do any editing. I'm not going to skip the boring parts, and I'm just going to do the whole process and pick a neutral topic so that I'm not stepping on anyone's toes. But I'm sure I will, because there's people have niches in almost everything. So this might be boring, but I feel like it will be very helpful, especially for those who are trying to get better at search analysis. Now, if I'm doing this, what I would love to see is other people, especially those who consider themselves really good at it, to do the same thing so that we can learn from you. If you feel like that's a trade secret, then that's up to you. But I think that all of us would benefit from that. But I just wanted to make this video to make a start and making something helpful for the community. All right, so the neutral niche topic that I've chosen is just energy, maybe alternative energy storage options, stuff like that. But the subtopic I'll be talking about today is the battery, and I think I'll even do I will go through the process of selecting maybe a sub niche, because battery is obviously a big topic. And I'll be putting the results in the P24 dashboard. It's a tool that Giannis from our community has created. Really awesome. I'll just be working with this instead of an Excel spreadsheet. So let's get to it. So let's look at the word battery and see what we get here. Battery is storing energy, and batteries are a big topic. So I'm just going to kind of see what's out there. And I just looked at this a moment ago, so I'm a little cheating, but let's talk about CR2032 batteries. Now, these are a very common battery that you will see in tea lights in your computer. These little batteries are everywhere, so there's definitely enough people looking and have questions about these batteries. So I'm just going to start from A to Z and see what I can get here. Where can I buy? I'm actually not doing this right. First things first, I need to get into incognito mode. Let's do that. CR2032 battery. Okay, so first things first, where can I buy? A CR2032 battery? This doesn't seem like a good topic. This is like a commodity. It's going to be everywhere, so I don't think that's a good topic. How to test a CR20? CR2032 battery. Okay, so I see the snippet. It comes from It Still Works. Let's take a quick peek. And I'm seeing that there's pictures. There seems to be a lot of information. There is a lot of ads. Actually, not even that much information. It just looks like it's mostly ads like that. I'm already jumped to a new article. It's one of those infinite scrolling websites. I hate those. Anyway, so it tells you how to do it with a multimeter, and it seems pretty straightforward. Okay, this is good. A button battery. This is another term for the button battery. I know that there's also coin cell batteries. I've seen that too. So there's multiple search terms that I can look for. This one seems a little bit more straightforward. All the steps are lined out. So, I mean, that's a pretty decent battery. I don't know if I could really add a lot to this one. So, but I want to remember this one because there might be some spin-off topics that I will get inspired. So I'm going to add that one. How to test a CR2032 battery. I haven't created my categories yet, so I'm going to do that real quick. Batteries. I'm going to say 50 estimated posts. This is kind of assuming that you've already done kind of the preliminary search analysis and picked out some categories. I just was going to dig into the search analysis to kind of circumvent that. But that's what I would, definitely, that's a precursor. You can't just jump into it. You have to kind of have figured out kind of the different categories and things that you'd look at. The competition to me is high. I mean, I know they're not very high, long articles, but just like looking at the websites, I mean, Lifehacker, TechWalla, those are Instructables. Those are very, big names. And Candle Power Forums, it's a forum. So, I mean, there's a potential there, but, maybe there's some like an amazing article that could put a spin on this. So I'm going to say this is a maybe for me, but I wouldn't say I would definitely make that article for sure. Okay, let's keep on going. Oh, here's an interesting, so these are like, CVS, like I guess the question is, can you get this battery at CVS? And let's take a look at some of these. Oh, I made a new tab when I didn't want to. I find myself doing that a lot. I have a million of these tabs open and I'll close a tab accidentally and have to get back to where I was. Yeah, so CVS dominates that, so there's no real point in that one. Let's look at this one, CR2025 versus 2032. I wish there was a way to copy that autocomplete, but I don't think there is. CR2025 versus CR2032 battery. Oh, that's promising. The first top result is Quora. So Quora is, I mean, I don't know if it's on the same par as a forum, but there is definitely, as you read some of these answers, you'll see a huge variance in quality. And so I think that this is definitely, I mean, it's user-generated content in any case. And so I know that this is definitely something that could be won over. Looks like there's some decent answers. Let's check out battery equivalence. So as I'm reading through this, CR25 is based on lithium manganese dioxide and BR2025. I think that this is a good article and it's going really into the depths, but I don't know if everyone who's searching for this would look for this kind of answer, because this is getting really technical. So maybe this could be a good article in terms of, I mean, actually, I think I would write about this, but maybe put a spin on it in terms of like, how like a lay person would want to use, they have a 2025 or they see a 2025 and there's not a 2032 available. They're just trying to get a battery for their, what have you, whatever electronic device that they have. Like, I believe some cameras can use this type of battery. So now as far as competition though, I mean, Quora is the top result. And let me check out the next article. I mean, this is a good article and I think summarizes some of this in a little bit more concisely than the previous one we just looked at, but maybe they don't talk about like where one would be used. As it turns out, the only thing that differs between these batteries is thickness. So so it looks like there could be more of a discussion about like when you can use one over the other, and are they interchangeable? Kind of as I'm looking at these articles, they definitely seem to get into some details that may not be what someone's looking for. And so I don't know. I think it's possible to make a more concise. So I'm actually going to put this as a competition medium, because there is detail. Maybe it's not as concise and digestible for the layperson. So I'm going to say, yes, I'm going to create this one. And if I add this to the hit list, which I will, I would think that I would kind of do a buffet title. I think that picking titles for your articles is a completely different thing. So I'm just going to leave it there and not embarrass myself in front of whoever's listening and watching. All right. So I actually think this could be a staple post. If you find a comprehensive devices, differences, and when you would use one over the other, and you could dive into the technical electric differences between these two batteries. And so I think that there could be a lot of detail, and you could appease the layperson kind of at the beginning of the article, and then get into deep dive into the technical specifications. So I think that would be something that could be written about. At least that's my point. Now, I admit, like, I'm usually looking at the top 4 or 5, and I know that there could be some articles coming up on the next pages, but I think that even if I can't get the first place for an article, the second place is a worthwhile venture, and so I typically look at just the top few. So maybe that's an incorrect way to look at it, but that's kind of my way of going about things. And this is gone for 10 minutes, so I'm going to just do a few more. All right, let's see more about C. Can I use... Let's check out this one. Oh, I clicked on it and I didn't type it in another one. So that's interesting. There's a 2032. Will a 2032 replace the 2016? Let's check that's Quora post. The digits indicate the size in millimeters. So I noticed in another article, the one we were just looking at, was someone was able to shim something to get a battery to fit where it wouldn't have supposedly. So it's kind of an interesting question. And as I'm looking through this, it seems like there's not really a post that's explaining, like, what do the numbers mean, and when would you use one battery over another, and kind of like I would think like that's almost a pillar content that could address all of this at once. Maybe not. Maybe this could be a bunch of response posts kind of addressing these smaller questions. But I think that is still something that could be worth a response post. Can I use a 2032 battery instead of a 2016? And I think not. The answer is no, because that would double your voltage. But I don't know a lot about batteries. I just picked a random topic. But anyway, I think that, again, that's kind of a low. There's not anything that really addresses that specific query. So I'm guessing this is going to be a really low search topic. But I think that if you're just like, that's worth a response post in any case. Okay. I'm going to add 2 more, and I'm going to call that good enough for this demonstration of search analysis. All right. 2030 CR. Let's do coin battery. Now, so another tactic I often do use, besides going through A, B, C, D through each letter of the alphabet as a prefix and as a suffix, I often sometimes, well, for some topics, it's I often will resort to beginning with the reporter questions. So how is I always there seems to be always some autocomplete for how questions, and how to make a coin spin with a battery. This isn't related to what I've been talking about, but I'm kind of intrigued. To make a coin spin with a battery. Okay, so this is definitely a YouTube question, and there seems to be a lot of random articles. That seems really competitive. I wouldn't touch it. How does a coin battery work? Yeah, let's try that. How does a coin battery... Sorry about that. How does a coin battery work? By sanding off one, because that's not really... Let's see. That's not really answering the question, the snippet. I'm kind of dissatisfied with that answer. What is a penny battery? So this is talking actually about coins, using a coin as a battery, I'm guessing. Yeah, I mean, by sanding off one face of a penny. But I think that when someone's typing in coin battery, they're most likely, I mean, this is a tough one because coin is meaning two things here. There's the CR2032, coin cell battery. So people call it a coin battery, but apparently you can make a penny battery out of coins. So I didn't know that. So what was the original? How does a coin battery work? If someone was looking for a CR2032 battery, how does that battery work, and they didn't know the name of it, then they wouldn't necessarily get that answer from this search at all. In fact, all of this is having to do with penny batteries. So I don't know if I'd write this article because there are probably some people who are looking for the answer to this question. So let's take a look and see, how does a button battery work? All right, that seems like a much more legitimate answer. And we got Wikipedia, we got batteries.com, and UPS Battery Center. So that's very competitive. I don't think I would touch that one. How to test a coin battery with a multimeter. How to test a coin battery. I bet you that this is similar. Yeah, there we go. So see, this one, they actually assume that you're talking about a CR2032 battery. Okay, cool. All right, so that one looks like it's also well explained. I don't see a need to add to that topic. I admit that I do this often when I'm doing search analysis, as sometimes I don't even click in because I just look at the links and I look at the authority, and as a new website, I don't really have much of a hope to make a dent in that. And even if they're short articles, like if it's answering the question, which I'm assuming it's a bunch of authority sites answering the same question, that I wouldn't really, it's kind of a waste of time. So, I mean, that's how I feel about it, but I'm sure I would love to see other people's opinions on that. Here's an interesting one. How to remove coin cell battery from motherboard. I am guessing that is going to be a YouTube heavy answer. How to remove a coin cell battery from motherboard. Computer Hope. Well, here's a blog post, and here's several YouTube videos. How to change a CMOS battery. CMOS? How do people say that? I've always wondered that. WikiHow, support HP. Yeah, that seems really competitive. So let's keep going. How to charge coin cell battery. Let's try it. Let's just see what this looks like. How to charge coin cell battery. Several YouTube videos. Let me look at this first result here. Pretty short, but it looks like someone, I mean, that's pretty cool. Someone created a device that will charge it based just in the USB drive. Cool. Yep, I don't think I'd really go for that one. I don't know if I could really add to that. I don't have the sophisticated electrical engineering skills to make something like that. How to charge mobile, or talk about it intelligently. How to charge mobile battery with coin. That's an interesting question. How to charge mobile battery with coin. Yeah, you know, I don't know anything about this. How to charge mobile phone using coins. I didn't know this is a thing, but apparently there's a YouTube video. And so that's pretty interesting. Okay, so apparently there's some viral, this looks like it, there's a specific coin. So, okay, I'm getting out of that one because that's something I don't know about, and there seems to be a lot of information about it already. How to make an easy coin battery. I'm guessing this is pretty competitive. And right front and center is these YouTube videos, and unless I'm planning on doing that, and there's an Instructables science buddy. Yeah, this looks like it's pretty tough. We already kind of looked at that one. Seems like the how-to questions are pretty tough as I'm going through. Nothing that I would try to tackle as a new website owner, especially if I didn't know a lot about batteries. How to make a coin battery holder. Now, that's an interesting question. How to make a coin battery holder. Interesting. There's a lot of information and Instructables, and yep, lots of information on that again. So I'm going to get out of the how-tos. I'm out of my depth clearly on that one. Why does a coin battery work? Why does a coin battery work? I think I've already searched this, and yep, I'm going to skip that one because I still don't know the answer. Okay, what coin battery? What does the coin cell battery do in a laptop? Let's see if someone's answered that concisely. So this one is how often should I replace, and that's not the same question, although it probably answers the question obliquely. So let's look at these two. Alternatively referred to as a button cell or watch battery. So it talks about important system settings. It's simplifying that quite a bit. What's a BIOS? What's a CMOS? This is a good article. It's basically showing like what kind of data is being stored. It's kind of, I think, going into too much data, too much detail for, I mean, there's room for someone to make a post about what does a coin cell battery do in a laptop and just talking about it from a high level. I mean, this is getting into the BIOS and talking about UEFI firmware versus BIOS, and talking about CPU's multiplier front side bus, using terminology that people who are just curious, maybe like they saw that battery and they're like, hey, my T-Lite uses that battery. Why is that in my computer? So I think this is an article worth writing. But it's pretty competitive. I mean, there's a lot of high authority sites that come up here, and so I think it would be difficult to to outrank these, honestly, and provide to get up here. So I'm going to say that's a high competition. We'll create maybe. I think that there's if you like, it would take really good content that just really outshone it. So really long, a lot of depth. There's not a lot in this question, to be frank, though. Like, it's if you're trying to answer at a high level. So maybe if a post tried to do both. So pillar content needed, satisfy high level and low level detail. So for someone to go in between. Okay. All right, that's 23 minutes. I think that is sufficient to kind of see some of the process of search analysis that I go through. Assessing competition to me is one of the most tricky parts that I don't know exactly. I often will find, I'm often looking for posts that have user-generated content as the top results, and those are the ones I typically will write for, or something that's irrelevant, as I just was demonstrating. But if I'd love to see how other people how they do search analysis, kind of their process, and how they look at a website and determine whether that's something they would write about. If y'all think this is helpful, let's continue the discussion. Feel free to post and give as much feedback as you think would be valuable. And thanks for sitting along with this long, maybe arduous, but hopefully helpful video about search analysis.